Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listen review. And this is one that I don't think I have been so excited for ever. Um, my favorite band in the world, the band that got me into music, that got me into playing music and wanting to write music, is The Who. And a couple of the first songs I ever heard from The Who were Won't Get Fooled Again and Baba O'Reilly. And what was just released, and I finally got it 2 days late because Amazon sucks, is The Who. Who's Next? Lifehouse. It is the Super Deluxe Edition, 10 CD. It's got a graphic novel of the whole Lifehouse story. It's got a whole book in there of the process, the writing. I actually been reading it here and listening to it, and I haven't got through the whole thing yet, but this is going to be kind of an overview. I was noticing that after I was looking at all this stuff, I have almost all this stuff already, but I have it all in one box set now. It comes with a whole bunch of extra things, little trinkets, a couple posters. Unfortunately, my autograph picture, which is a replica anyway, has a big hole in it because there's some buttons in it that got pushed through it, so it's one thing I'm a little bit bummed about, but gotta love Amazon. Anyway, this is like the everything together. It's got the original album in here. It's got a whole bunch of demos that Pete Townsend produced for this. And if you don't know the whole story of this whole deal, it was supposed to be Lifehouse was supposed to be the next album after Tommy, and of course nobody could understand what Pete was talking about. I mean, it's funny how much is predicted in this story. He was talking about everybody being hooked up to life suits and surviving through these life suits through the thing he called the grid, and kind of describing the internet. There was lock-ins in this thing because the government was in control of things. It's funny how we just came out of a lockdown. These suits, kind of like the Matrix type thing, the movie that we had there where everybody was living through these suits. And it's kind of a story about how the people try to escape from that. And I'm not going to give away the whole thing in case anybody hasn't, read it, or heard it. Pete Townsend put the whole thing together a few years ago in his own box set called The Lifehouse Chronicles, which is actually really cool too. I can't remember, that's like 5 CDs or DVD and something included in there. I haven't actually gone through that thing in a little bit, but that kind of gives he did a whole live performance on over in England, and it's really cool. You got to get that too. There's just so much history with this thing. It's hard to get through all of this in one little sitting here, but it's got that. It's got the original sessions from when they came over to New York, and they kind of scrapped all that stuff. And I'm probably telling this all out of order here, but there's a couple of the live recordings that they did, because what he wanted to do is he wanted to try to create an experience with the audience coming in and kind of working on music and creating music with the audience in this place they rented called the Young Vic Theater. And the whole thing just didn't work out. He actually had a nervous breakdown, and during this whole thing, I almost had a nervous breakdown during this whole thing. And basically what happened is they couldn't put it all together. The funding for the movie that they were going to make for this, as well as all supposed to coincide with each other, kind of went, and they ended up making the Tommy movie a little bit later on after this, and because his manager at the time was trying to push that one because he couldn't really understand what Pete was trying to do here, and he had gotten a ton of money to do this, and it's a big long story. The whole thing's explained in the book here, so if I'm explaining it horribly bad, which I'm sure I am, you can get this and read all about it. It's actually in Pete's biography, Who I Am. It's explained in there. And I'm sorry, I'm just trying to pick up the book here so we can go through it all. So in the first, I got to reach here. We got, the original album. You've got all the demos. We've got the record plant sessions for New York, and then we've got the Olympia Down Studio sessions in London. There's disc of singles and stuff that was released, because there's a ton of stuff that never made it on any album that was actually written for Lifehouse. Songs that you've probably heard, like Water. I'm just looking at it here real quick. Naked Eye, I think was actually The Seeker's in here too. We got another version of Water. Let's See Action. Oh, The Relay. That was a kind of one that was I was telling you about here just a minute ago. That was kind of like talking about the what turned out to be his description of the internet turned out to be, and then Joined Together, which has been covered by a lot of people. And that was never on this album. That would have been such an awesome album if all of those songs had been included on this originally. Can you imagine that? But then we got a bunch of stuff from the Young Vic in here. There's 2 CDs of that. And then there's a live concert in here from the Civic Auditorium in San Francisco from '71, and then there's the Blu-ray that's got the original album remixed by Steven Wilson, which is cool to hear. There's an Atmos mix in here, which I can't wait to hear. And Steven Wilson's got a new album coming out here at any time, and I guess the listening experience of that, he's gone out and rented places out to do these listening parties for that. That was done in an Atmos mix that were specifically done for that. Always forget to turn my phone off, and so I would love to hear the Atmos mix of this. So I don't have a system. I don't know when that's going to happen, but that's going to be awesome. And then there's all these little trinkets, which I could explain. I'm really excited about this one, in case you can't tell. The only thing, I'm not going to go through every song on this one, obviously, because that would take forever. But just kind of get a quick overview of what this box set actually is. The thing is that I don't like about this right from the start is that these booklets come and they're all just very flimsy. The CDs are in these little cardboard slots. It's not really well done, quite honestly. I'm a little disappointed in how this thing's put together. The thing with all the extra stuff in it, the posters and all that, is really flimsy. It's gonna, be careful with it. If you get it, it's gonna rip if you open this up too quickly. Like I said, my picture area as a whole poked right through it. And the books are really well done. The books are hardcover, really well done. The paper in it's really thick, and it's got tons of pictures in it. The books are, if you're like holding back on getting this, that's well worth it. I got the CD version. There's the LP version and stuff out there too. But the books are really well done. It comes in a big box like most everything does, and they're like LP sized inserts, and everything's LP sized, even though it is the CD version. So this is a little bit rinky-dink on some of the packaging here. Other than that, very, very cool. Like I said, I just can't say enough about this. I've already listened to about half of the stuff in here, and this stuff's been out in bootlegs for years and years and years. And although I don't think I had the San Francisco concert, I couldn't find that one anywhere in my stuff here. But I've got all this other demo stuff, and there was a super deluxe done a while back that I think in the early 2000s that had some of this stuff on it as well. But there's a little bit more here this time. So anyway, like I said, I could go on and on forever. I would love to hear what you guys think about the Who and stories. I've seen them about 4 times. I've taken my daughter to see them last time when they were out with the orchestra, and that was pretty cool. And it's like an experience every time you see these guys. I've driven like 5-6 hours just to see these guys in concert, and I've seen them I saw them on the Tommy tour they did way back. I think it was '89. I was a little bit too young to see them when they were still out touring. I actually remember I was doing a paper route, and I had stayed up all night to tape the final concert. They played it on the radio up in Canada at the Maple Leaf Gardens or whatever it was, and I just would walk around with that in my paper route bag, just listening to that over and over and over and over and over again. And man, this is so many. I just love this band so much. There's so many experiences I've had. I've seen them with the Quadrophenia tour. I saw them, unfortunately, right after John Entwistle passed away. It was just a couple months after that, and Pino Palladino had just taken over for him, and Robert Plant actually opened that show, which was an amazing show. It was a really weird experience. The crowd really supported Pino, though, for coming in and saving the day, and I can't imagine what those guys were going through at that point in time. But man, just can't say enough about these guys. I just love them so much. So anyway, as always, feel free to share your comments down below. Like, subscribe, and all that fun stuff, so we can talk about, if there's anything I'm ever talking about with these other bands, because this isn't just normal reviews I do, obviously. It's more like getting the feel for what other people are into, getting their feedback on this type of stuff, and it's just talking about music, keeping it alive, because, man, I tell you what, some of these bands nowadays just come and go, but or bands like this, they just live on for years and years and years. I mean, this is 50 years now, that this has been going on with this album alone. They have history before that, so it's all about keeping the music alive. And man, I guess that's about all I got to say here. So anyway, talk to you guys on the next one. We'll see you.